And welcome back to the Crypto Hawk Show. I got a deep dive today. We're going to start off with it. I didn't really realize it was a deep dive. I started reading the article a little bit deeper, and I said, oh man, this is all connected. This is how Russia, China, Yahoo, Mozilla, the government, Google, I'm telling you, Ripple, it's all connected, okay? Vitalik Buterin's not in there. Bitcoin's not in there. I'm going to show you the connections. It's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be very interesting. I've learned some things, and I think you guys probably will as too. My name is Crypto Hulk. I'm not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor, none of the above. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. Just watch the show and learn. It's very interesting stuff. First thing I'd like to just start off with is this. If you're somebody that can't afford any kind of membership or donation, do this because it really, really helps the channel. I'm telling you. First thing is, in all the top chats, just put a comment, even if it's the word comment. After the show, at least put something in there, even if it's just the word comment. Your goal is not to manipulate an advertising algorithm. It's just simply to say hi. Next, save every show to favorites. Like this show, save it to favorites. And then take, 5 or 10 shows and share them. Like, I don't know if you can save them all at once. You got to do it one by one. But at least once a day, save a show to your email, even if it's just your own email. Lastly, very important, set up a playlist for while you're working and listening to the show, okay? Don't turn off the volume. We want to hear the volume and just have it playing while you're at work. So YouTube doesn't like it if you're going to play 30 hours straight. They don't allow that. They also don't allow me to tell you to just play videos just because. So while you're at work and working and you can watch the videos and hear it and see it and all that, let it play for 8 hours a day. Got it? That would be amazing if you could do that. Okay. Let me get into the first 5 people that are here. Randolph, Thomas Cox, John Mado, Mr. OG, and James Edwards. Now, we're going to get into something that's very interesting. I'll tell you. This whole starting of crypto, this whole starting of the internet, it's by the same people. There's an article on Cointelegraph, and let me just start off with it. I started off with this, but I ended up somewhere far, far away. What we're talking about here, what we're going to discuss in the next 10 minutes is I want to show you all of how this is connected. I'm going to show you something here. This was all planned out. I've been telling you this now for about 5 years. I've been showing you with evidence for about the past 3. But all this is totally planned out. Let's start here. Every chain is an island. Crypto's liquidity crisis. So here's the problem. And I'll tell you what the solution is. Codius, okay? Which is Ripple. Every chain is an island. Every blockchain, I want you to notice, like every blockchain speaks a different language, doesn't it? Now, if it's Ethereum based, you can get away with maybe a Cosmos or something that's kind of interoperable within that chain. But what I want to discuss is completely different projects being interoperable together. Oh, that's a whole nother story, Crypto Hulk. Yes, it is. Well, no, it's not unless you got the right cryptocurrency. That's what we're going to discuss today. And I'm going to show you how all this shit was all planned out. And you can go ahead and get to certain cryptos you want to get because I'm going to show you which ones, in my opinion, are already predetermined to be the winners, okay? So in this article here, the race to scale blockchain networks has created an unexpected problem. of isolated pools of capital that make crypto harder, not easier to use. Crypto has come a long way in boosting transaction throughput. New layer ones and side networks offer faster, cheaper transactions than ever before. Yet a core challenge has come into focus: liquidity fragmentation, which is the scattering of capital and users across an ever-growing maze of blockchains. The problem is Ethereum's not interoperable. Bitcoin is not interoperable. None of these crypto chains are interoperable, except the XRP ledger is the king of interoperability. Now, other crypto, I want to make this clear. It's not a crypto that does everything. I'm saying interoperable. Listen very carefully when I talk. Don't think ahead of me, because you're going to end up taking 3 steps back, all right? Just listen as I say it. The XRP ledger is the platform that was predestined to be used by all the platforms that go right on top of the XRP ledger all the time, and then they're all connected. That's how this works. It's amazing to me how the other platform channels have no idea what we're talking about right here. What I'm looking at is a planet that's all going to have to build on the XRP ledger. Let's continue with this article here. Crypto has come a long way. Vitalik Buterin, in a recent post blog, highlighted how scaling successes have led to unforeseen coordination challenges. So as they can speed up, they end up breaking apart. That's because they're not using the right cryptocurrency. With so many chains and so much value splintered among them, participants face a daily tangle of bridging, swapping, and wallet switching. That ain't going to work, everybody. Ethereum ain't going to work. While these issues affect Ethereum, they also affect nearly every ecosystem, except the XRP. No matter how advanced, new blockchains risk becoming liquidity islands that struggle to connect one another. The real cost of fragmentation. Liquidity fragmentation means there is no single pool of assets for traders, investors. Well, there is if they build on the XRP ledger. But dumbasses don't want to do that. And in the end, they'll realize, oh shit, we just needed to build on Ripple and everything would have worked. Yes, it would have. Eventually, all the dummies will figure this out. For a user who wants to buy a token or access a specific lending platform, this siloing introduces multiple headaches. So that's what we discuss here. Again, switching networks, opening specialized wallets. But you got to do all this kind of shit with Ethereum, right? Get this, swap it out with that, transfer over there, do that, turn yourself around and do the hokey pokey, right? Okay. Not going to work, folks. Familiar fixes. It says, solutions have emerged to tackle this tangle. Bridges and wrapped, wrap this and wrap that. Look, that shit ain't gonna work, man. Bridges and wrapped assets enable basic interoperability. Basic. But the user experience remains cumbersome. Cross-chain aggregators. Okay, now I'm going to stop with this article. I'm pretty much done. I think you get the gist of that article right there. Let me take some comments. Now, see, that's at the surface. We spent some time at the surface. Now we're going to start going into a deep dive, okay? I wanted to come in here, explain the problem, explain the cryptos that are trying to fix things that are not going to, and then we're going to get into we already have a solution. It was figured out 10 to 12 years ago. All the shit I talk about, it's already figured out, okay? All these other channels, all these other platforms, they're just all distracted. They're not interoperable. No one's going to use Hex by itself, okay? No one's going to use none of this dumb shit by themselves because it doesn't do shit. It all has to go on an XRP ledger. I'm going to show you the history. And with evidence, I will show all of you with evidence how I come to that statement that I'm making. And that was our first article here. Every chain is an island. Now, let's go to Wikipedia and study some history. Let me do a copy and a paste. Now it's going to start getting deep. We're going to take it back to like 20 years ago, 22 years ago, everybody. We're going back to the Mozilla Foundation. Now, the Mozilla Foundation is an American nonprofit organization. It was started, now it's open source. Now that's interesting because Ripple's open source. Okay, just saying. I just want you to see coincidences. After I show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coincidences like these, then it's kind of like, well, I think the guy's got a point. Because one coincidence, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. When you start adding up all the coincidences, you're like, damn, Crypto Hulk, that's a very believable story you got there. Okay. Mozilla started in 2003. Okay. It's an organization sets the policies that govern development, operates critical infrastructure of the internet, and controls Mozilla copyrights. It has 2 taxable subsidiaries. You got a web browser. Now, remember, 2003 was kind of when the internet was really, it started, the internet, in my opinion, okay, because some of you guys, well, the internet was made in the 70s. I'm talking about when people not on planet Uranus were using it. So normal people like me, I started college in 1995, graduated in 99. I don't remember a whole lot of internet usage at all in college. We had some. And it was just really, really basic internet shit. The class was, none of my classes really had anything to do with the internet at all. So now it's up to about 99. Now, 2003 is when it kind of just, floodgates kind of just started opening up. Between 1999 and 2003 is like when all this .com shit took off and all that. So Michael Saylor got wrecked. Yeah, Michael Saylor from Digital Strategies or whatever it is, that dude he lost more millions or billions of dollars than anybody else. Just putting that out there. Let's go back to Mozilla here. So you got Mozilla, and it was the Mozilla Foundation was founded by Netscape. Netscape affiliated Mozilla organization. So you've got we're talking early founders. Don't forget, AOL's mixed up in this as well. This is all like the starting. This is all the starting. The major players of the internet searches and compatibility. I want you to see all this because what's going to come out of all this is COIL, COIL, and that's a secret kind of like project from Ripple. I'm going to let you see how Ripple comes out of all of this, where I think the whole time, I don't have all the answers. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to speculate and look over this thing. It's very cool to look at. So you've got the internet kind of has just taken off. You got Mozilla mixed in here with this, with Netscape, who's on its way out. Netscape kind of started a lot of stuff, but then AOL is really the one that was in the beginning. Netscape and AOL started to donate a lot of their money and their technology. It was almost like they were projects, kind of like how Ripple operates. They do a project for a while, they hire some people, they let the people go, and they bring in new people for the next project. This is just like Ripple. Just a coincidence, okay? Probably coincidence number one. So you got Mozilla all mixed up in this with Netscape. But the Mozilla Foundation is also a nonprofit like Ripple. Now we're at coincidence number two. Just saying. Okay. It's all out of Silicon Valley, just like Ripple. The Mozilla Foundation describes itself as a nonprofit. There is a Mozilla manifesto. I'm not going to look into that, but that would be interesting. In 1998, Netscape created Mozilla, and that's just about like I was telling you guys. I graduated college in 1999. So just as I had graduated, like I said, we didn't barely use anything online for college. Not anything barely, just a little or something. The instructor might say, use the internet to find a book or a title or something, but it was just, we were just kind of messing around with it. And this makes sense because Netscape hit the scene in 1998. So we had no lesson plans built on the internet. So I was probably one of the last college graduates to really not do much with the internet at all in 1999. So in 1999, Netscape created Mozilla. So you got the AOL and the Netscape on their way out, and then they put their energies into Mozilla, which is like the next project. I think all this is government involved. Now, AOL, America Online, that's Netscape's parent. So AOL started it all. Then they created Mozilla. Netscape. And then from Netscape and AOL, they were kind of closing up their book. And then they started something called, or they helped Mozilla continue on. Now it starts getting interesting. That's 2003, 1998, 2003, 4, 5, 6. They kind of leave some in 2019. Now here's where it gets interesting. Ripple comes in to this in 2019. You have something called Mozilla, Creative Commons, and a company called Coil. Ripple was all up in that Coil technology, and then they kind of just disappeared and everything like went quiet. Kind of like the Codius project. The Codius project went all quiet and stuff. Now, this whole time, Google's involved, okay? Google's involved in this whole thing. That's another coincidence. Google also is a Ripple partner. Another coincidence. I mean, I got probably, when all is said and done, I have maybe 15 things that are very coincidental with Ripple. Maybe you can't say it's Ripple, but it's just they both happen to be this. They both happen to work there. They both are just 15 or different things that are just very similar to Ripple. So Ripple's mixed up in this Coil technologies. They wanted to have a development of technologies using the interledger protocol. Oh my God. Okay. So now the internet browser company that basically took over AOL and Netscape, Mozilla, is now mixed up with Coil and the Interledger Foundation. You see where this is going now? Oh, man, the coincidences. So from 2019 to 2021, Ripple in the Coil and Interledger Foundation were mixed up with Mozilla, the people of the internet. Now in 2005, it talks here. Where it says Mozilla Corporation, go down to, it says from 2004 to 2014. Remember, Ripple's now 2012. So from 2004 to 2014, Bitcoin's 2009. Most of the revenue came from Google. Oh, now Google comes in. It shows that 2014. We know that Google-backed Ripple entered India in about 2018. So Google's getting involved in all this Ripple stuff, Firefox. Now, here's where it gets really interesting because we get China and Russia involved. And that's the same as Ripple Russia and Ripple China. It's not giving us an exact date. Firefox in the USA, Yandex, that's Yandax, search is the default for Firefox. And then Baidu, Baidu is China. So what happened, and this all makes sense in 2014. Holy shit, are you guys following this one? The Force, thank you very much for that donation. Late fee. Appreciate that. Justin, Stephen, appreciate all the deep dives you do and never giving up, sharing facts. You're the man. But look at this here. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. In 2014, Google jumped into all this, and then you got the Russians and the Chinese. Oh, so that sounds like, now here's my, well, I'll show you on later in the show. But if you, I'll show you right now, though, just one of the videos that I made. This all makes sense now because in 2014, I showed you no other channel. I showed you Ripple China and Ripple Russia. Now it's starting to make sense. 2014 was that year where you brought Russia and China in the United States all into this interoperability kind of shit going on with the internet. Makes total sense now. Russia joined Ripple through Z Payment in 2014. All this shit makes sense now. And it has to do with the building of the internet. Okay, so Yandex search. Russia uses Yandex, Yandex. It's an engine owned by the company Yandex, based in Russia. Very interesting. And then Baidu is a Chinese multinational tech company specializing in internet and artificial intelligence. Well, isn't this something? AI, everybody. Just keeps getting more interesting the more I start digging in. Let's take a little look here now. Okay, you got Mozilla China. Look down below at the title, Mozilla China. So they were letting the Chinese and the Russians in on this, working with them in 2014. Probably in 2012-13, all this was going on, because that's where we see 2013 Ripple China, 2014 Russia. So right about when Ripple started, 2012, 13, 14, Google was in there, Russia, China, and that's when all this crypto shit started getting interoperable. That's when Codius came out. 2014 is when Codius hit the scene. I'm going to go over Codius later, but this is very awesome information. I'm showing you all the connections right now. Very interesting, okay? I don't have the answers. Crypto Hulk, when are we going to moon? This is all good information. Look, I'm showing you now so you don't ask me stupid, fucked up questions like that, okay? These internet companies, this is all government stuff. I'm showing you the connections right here. Let me scroll down for financing. From 2004 to 14, the foundation had a deal with Google to make Google search. So Google was really heavily mixed in 2014. All of this makes sense where the connection with Ripple, Russia, China, and all this stuff. Okay. And we all know Brad Garlinghouse in the early days came from Yahoo, and they were mixed in with all this too. So all this makes total sense. Brad was like somebody way high up at Yahoo. Now, Danelle Dixon is in this article as well. Her name's mentioned. If I could find it. Let's go now to the interledger protocol. So let's now take it back to 2014, right? When we had Ripple Russia, Ripple China, Yahoo was working with all this AOL shit, and everybody's all doing the thing in 2014. You had Coil around that time, interledger protocol, Codius, all the shit was popping off in 2014, right around in there. Here we have on Wikipedia, Interledger Foundation. It also just happens to be a nonprofit corporation. You know what? It's just all, why is all this shit nonprofit corporation? Very interesting, isn't it? The mission of, okay. Now I want you to see something I noticed. There's something called the Interledger Foundation. Ripple has something called the interledger protocol. Ripple invented all this stuff. Here's what's interesting. Go to where it says history. Now, who's credited for having the interledger protocol? Two people, a German guy, two German people. Just saying. Stefan Thomas and Evan Schwartz. Very interesting. Ripple's first customer, German bank. It's called Fedor. After that, the French bought it. Very interesting. Now, in 2015, Stefan Thomas and Evan Schwartz published the Ripple Interledger Protocol. It was actually invented in 2014. I'm going to show you here with Codius in a minute. We're going to go over Codius here too. This is a very deep dive show I got for you today because we're connecting all the dots. I'm showing you how all the early day shit. Crypto Hulk, why do you study the early day shit? So I understand what the fuck's going on right now. That's why I study the shit from 10 years ago. So back in 2014, 15, those were the golden years. Okay, Russia got hooked up, China got hooked up. You got Coil out there doing its thing, interledger protocol. The internet in 2015 gets hooked up. Look under history, it says right here. In 2015, the World Wide Web Consortium. Who are they? The people that own the internet. Oh, shit. And Ripple's meeting with them? Yes, they are. And what are they going to do? They're implementing the interledger protocol into the internet. They put the code into the internet. 2015. The document described communication protocol to enable interoperable payments by acting as a universal translator. That's Codius. That is Codius right there. The interledger protocol is a code on how every single, this is where we started this whole show, we started this whole show with the title from a Cointelegraph article, "Every chain is an island." Every chain is its own island, and we've got to connect these somehow. That's where we're going with all of this. So you've got the interledger protocol, Evan Schwartz, Stefan Thomas, 2015, meet with the World Wide Web. The Federal Reserve was there, the National Association of Convenience Stores, and American Express. They were all there, and Ripple gave it to the World Wide Web. And this was the first time an interoperable payment could be made. They're talking about to enable interoperable payments by acting as a what? Universal translator. That is Codius, which we'll get into here in just a minute. So Codius is the universal translator, everybody. There is no other crypto that does this. This is it. This is the only platform that does this, okay? And in 2015, the internet implemented this into it. Now, I want you to see something first. This is very interesting. The World Wide Web, and remember now the dates, 2015. I want you to see something. In 2015, this happened. The World Wide Web hosted a meeting, and it was called the Interledger Payments Community Group, okay? And it was the people I just told you, the convenience stores, Federal Reserve, American Express. It was a small little group. Ripple Labs was there. Now, I want you to see something. Go back up to the very first sentence on this page. The Interledger Foundation is a U.S.-based nonprofit corporation established in 2019. So, wait a second, Crypto Hog. How the fuck? how does two guys, Stefan Thomas, Evan Schwartz, publish a paper? The internet takes it and works the code into the internet, while the Interledger Foundation hasn't even been established yet. Well, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So they Ripple just somehow implemented their protocol on the internet, and then 4 years later, a foundation was started after the fact. Very interesting, okay? Like I told you, there's all the coincidence here. Coincidence, that's just a coincidence, Crypto Hog. That's just, you could say that 15 times. Whew-wee. This is all planned out. The first thing they did when they implemented it is the first payment using the interledger protocol was transmitted between two ledgers, the Bitcoin ledger on Bitstamp. That was Ripple's first partner, by the way, Bitstamp. So there was the first transaction was on a Bitcoin ledger and the XRP ledger on GateHub. Your very first transaction was sending Bitcoin, probably in XRP. I think I'm going to call that one a wrap. Let me look here real quick. What did this allow? The Interledger protocol allowed open payments and web monetization and a whole lot of things you couldn't do before on the internet. That'll be the end of those two. Whoo-wee, that was something. Now, here's Codius right here. I'm not going to spend more than a couple minutes on Codius because I know we've been going at this quite a bit. But I'm trying to show you today's program, the Crypto Hub. Why is it taking so long? Because if you don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about now, you aren't going to understand. I'm showing you all the evidence. They are running shit. Do you got it? I don't have that answer because I'm not running shit except this channel. And that's barely between Google and the government trying to fuck this channel up. So what we got is this. It's called Codius. Remember when I told you about the universal translator? There's the interledger protocol, and it uses a universal translator. That's this right there. Bam. Do you know how Ripple's able to be interoperable? Because of Codius, of this right here. That's the universal translator. It's called Smart Oracles. That's what it is. If you look here, what does it start off with? The word overview, right? Smart Oracles provide what, right? Crypto, Smart Oracles, what? Yes, these are Smart Oracles. You've heard of a crypto. What makes a crypto do something? The smart contracts, right? But how does the smart contract know? An oracle has to tell it. But who tells the oracle? The smart oracle. These other platforms don't have this at all. This is it. It was designed probably and done, I want to say, 2011, right before Ripple hit the scene in 2012. That's my opinion. 12, 13, right in there. But let's just look really quickly at what is Codius and how does it relate to interledger protocol and this whole fucking thing. I'll try to make this as short as possible. Smart oracles provide a simple, flexible way to implement smart contracts. Smart oracles use oracles that tell the smart contract what to do. Get it? And the smart contract tells the crypto what to do. All right? Now, who's involved in this? It says in the first paragraph, Google. There you go, right there. Okay? So Google is all up in this. It talks about oracles, smart oracles. Now, if we this is very interesting. I don't want to go over this now. Let's go to the very bottom. Go to the end. Go where it says acknowledgements. Now, Ripple right here, thanks. This paper was authored. So this paper on Codius, was authored by who? Evan Schwartz and Stefan Thomas. I think that's David Schwartz's brother. Nobody ever talks about this guy. Special thanks to David Schwartz for pointing out the concept of offline contracts. That's how crypto's going to run. If you have a power outage or something somewhere, offline contracts are going to take care of that. David Schwartz he's like the familiar one with that. They want to thank the Ethereum team for giving smart contracts a platform and introducing thousands of people to the concept. They want to thank Google and Native Client. And that is it. I'm not going to get into Codius anymore. Now we're going to talk about what we just talked about. So tell us what you're going to tell us. Tell us, and then tell us what you told us, okay? That's what you learn in speech class and how to make a speech. So just to wrap this up really quick, the government, they've already figured out all this shit, all right? I keep saying this all the time. I've shown you with evidence. We take it all the way back to 1998. We talked about how Google, AOL, Netscape, Mozilla, Ripple in the Coil project, interledger protocol, Stefan Thomas, Evan Schwartz. Then they come up with Coil and they come up with Codius. They talk about a universal translator. The smart oracles, we didn't read the last section, but the very, very end, it shows you all the use cases. It's not just sending cryptocurrency. It's in law. It's in voting and all these things. Now, the XRP ledger cannot do everything. You don't want it to. It'll be worthless garbage like Ethereum. Whoops. It'll be worthless garbage if you did, okay? So I just showed you how all this stuff is connected. The early players in the game, Russia, China in 2013-14, I showed you all that. They're all connected. They're involved in this. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised. Crypto Hulk, who made Bitcoin? Well, you guys know if you watch my channel, in what year? Now, this is a quiz time. Hold on. Lions Den Dan. Great show. It's funny. Gary Gensler and David Schwartz have hidden brothers. Another coincidence. See what I said? There's got to be 15 or 20 coincidences in this little story I just told you. I don't have necessarily solid rock evidence right here in this show, but there's like 20, at least 15 like coincidences. How does that happen? 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 I mean, eventually it's like, come on now. If you can't see that it's the truth, then it's just, you'll be one of those people that just won't believe. So that's why we need to watch The Matrix again. I mean, that's why my channel is the most heavily shadow banned. I appreciate everybody on this channel that does their best to help spread the word, to blow out the algorithm or whatever it is, to keep this channel going, support whatever it is. I'm showing you here. I don't know when this shit takes off because I just showed you they're running shit. Do you get it? Like, this is so far high above like Crypto Hulk. You're asking impossible questions because you came to my channel because you were watching dumb shit channels. Okay? And they talk about what's your exit strategy and what's this and that. You come from channels that are dumb shit with very low IQ, that with content that doesn't challenge you intellectually. These other channels spoon feed you baby food and you're 50 years old. It's a damn shame, okay? My channel, I make you fucking think. We're already at 43 minutes. These other channels could have got 3 shows out and fit 43 minutes. Some of them 4 shows. I'm showing you I just showed you the backbone of global payments. It occurred in 2015 when 2 Ripple employees, Evan Schwartz and Stefan Thomas, approached the internet with American Express, the convenience store people. Ripple was there. The Federal Reserve was there. They sent the world's first crypto payment. Let's call it that. Let's call it for what it is. It was a crypto fucking payment. And then in 2015, it was then adopted into the internet. And nobody talks about Coil, right? Coil was one of these little secret projects that just kind of... Codius was talked about because they had to work it into the World Wide Web, and then no more code. It's like, yeah, we're not pursuing Codius anymore. Oh yeah, you are, because it's built into the internet, asshole. That's the universal fucking translators, Codius. It didn't go away. Coil never went away. They were projects, just like Ripple works on. They had to hire Rosie Rios for treasury stuff. Why? Now, tell me if I'm telling the truth or lying. Don't you hear that word, the treasury, coming up all the time now? This government wants to have a treasury of crypto. This corporation wants a treasury of crypto. The United States with Trump's going to have a treasury of cryptos, right? Why the fuck do you think Rosie Rios from the treasury went to Ripple? Start using your fucking brain. Some of the people that come from these dumb shit channels, they're getting it all set up. You don't take a treasury. I never heard nothing. I never heard anything. I'm an English major. I'm supposed to use correct grammar. I've never heard anything about a crypto treasury until after Rosie Rios became the treasurer. She was the treasurer of the United States, and she went to work for Ripple. Then it took about 2 years, and now we're starting to hear all this stuff about IBM wants a treasury, or fucking Macy's wants to develop a treasury of cryptos, or ABC Construction Company wants to have. I'm hearing all about treasuries now, aren't we? That's what Ripple did back in 2013, 14 and shit. And 2015, when they met with the World Wide Web, they got it all hooked up. You couldn't hide Coil. You couldn't hide Codius and shit. And then after they implemented it and stuff, they put it, nobody talk about this shit no more. Nobody talk about it. Just say it's a project we're no longer working on. You know why? Because it's already fucking done. When a project's done, you don't need to work on it anymore, right? That's the lie. David Schwartz was telling everybody, oh yeah. Now that dude's under a non-disclosure agreement. Do you think you can ask him a question he's going to tell you? The answer is no. Anybody at Ripple, okay, you go to this Ripple or XRP Las Vegas shit, right? You're not going to get any answers out of these assholes because they can't tell you. Do you get this now? I've only been spending 45 minutes showing you this is all government level, high level shit. How does a startup company like Ripple just happen to have the Federal Reserve in the same room talking to the World Wide Web, and then having the World Wide Web implement Ripple technology into the fucking internet? How does a startup do that? It's not a startup. It's the government, okay? Maybe the government supporting a feeder project. The government just kind of hires off some contractors. Hey, Ripple's a private contractor for the government. I've already shown you that. No other channel showed you except Crypto Hulk. Ripple on their website said contractor, private contractor for the United States government. Guess what? Next day, Ripple took that shit off their website. Ripple's the fucking government, okay? So please don't ask me when this, when that. I'm not running shit. I'm not the government, okay? I've already shown you all the government connections. I can't answer questions like that. It's because you've been watching dumb shit channels that have been feeding you baby food, okay? And you only watch them for like 5 minutes. And when you watch a show like mine, you're like, holy fuck, we're in the Matrix. Yes. All the shit's running around right in front of you and you can't even see it. And then when you watch the Crypto Hulk show, you're like, holy shit. All these connections. Yes, the Russia and China and the United States in 2014 were all interacting with this internet and Yahoo and search engines and all that. They're all working together. Just so happened we had Ripple China and Ripple Russia during that time. What a fucking coincidence, right? But no other channel has that. What did the news show? Oh, yeah, Russia and China and the United States worked on Yahoo together. Yes, they did. They'll say, oh, yeah, that's a fact. And then guess what Crypto Hulk busts out with? Ripple China, 2013. Ripple Russia, January 9th, 2014. And then the whole world's like, oh, shit, how did Crypto Hulk figure that out? Because they'll admit, oh, yeah, we worked. Yahoo will admit, yeah, we worked with China, Yahoo, and all that. Oh, yeah? Was Brad Garlinghouse there when that happened, too? I don't know, everybody. I just show you the connections. That's way above my pay grade. At least you know. I gave you a little history lesson today on how Ripple and all this shit connect. All right? That's your little history lesson. Linda McKinney, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hot pink tax-free donation. We got Stu Lavelle gave 10 people memberships. RJ was given a membership. Klaus Vaak. And then Vesa Lukanen. Kevin Simmons. Michael Goyer. David. Rahul. Rainer Paulus. Crypto Holmes. And Tom Gates was gifted memberships by Stu Lavelle. The Force. The Force gifted 5 Crypto Hulk memberships. Those 5 go to Tad Lee, Justin B, GS, Darkspace XRP, and Blocky Crypto, I think. Hold on here. Okay, let me turn that ringer off. And let me see if there's any questions here. That was a pretty heavy deep dive. A lot of connections, and I basically just showed you how they put together in the early phases part of all the crypto. How I basically showed you how Ripple, the government, and these different tech companies, all probably working with the government and Google and other countries, China, Russia, got together and got this payment system, which is the interledger protocol mixed in with Codius, which is the universal translator. I just basically showed you how all this stuff got connected over the past 25 years-ish or so, and who was involved in it. And it's Ripple. Again, Ripple is the foundation that, look, it can't do everything. So it's kind of like it helps Chainlink and Ripple are partner. Chainlink and Algorand, Ripple and Algorand are partners. Ripple and Hedera are partners. Ripple is like the foundation all good cryptos will build on, okay? Ripple is not the end-all, be-all. There's a lot of cryptos that do different things. Maybe, like, I'm just guessing, I have no idea. 30 to 50 cryptos are actually really good, and the rest are just horse shit, okay? I'd say probably, and I don't know what top 30. I'd have to sit down and talk to some of you guys because you know some shit I don't. I can't follow everything in crypto. I don't know everything in crypto. Sometimes you guys tell me shit, I'm like, what? So I don't know everything. I know that the area that I know, the subject matter expert area that I know, I'm good at what I do in that area. But crypto is vast. I don't know it all. For me to know, I can't know everything about crypto. I'd have to have a room with probably, and I'd have to pick 15 smart people, 15 deep divers like me, 15 to 20. I would need a group of 15 people to really figure the fuck out of this because I can't do that much work. It's going to require that much work. I need 15 really fucking good deep diving expert people that just dump time into shit, and then I could start figuring all this stuff out. We could have little meetings and stuff. See, this is how complicated this shit is. I can't answer the questions some of you guys got. I don't know. This is so fucking big and so deep. I talk about it, and I still have lots of questions. You know, this is all government cover-up stuff, man. Government operation. You're lucky you're here early. I'm lucky. I'm shown, or I'm given information by my higher power to show you some stuff that I don't even have all the answers to, but sure is really, really fucking interesting on how all this China Russian stuff come trouncing on in 2013, 14. And I happen to just find the evidence for that. Interested in life. Thank you very much for that donation. Hey, Crypto Hulk, what do you think about BlackRock buying the Panama Canal? I heard someone else was going to buy it too. I heard someone else beat out the BlackRock. Now, it might be wrong information. I think Larry Fink wanted to buy it at first. Trump wanted to buy it at first. Then it went to Larry Fink. And then some other company, I think, beat out BlackRock. But I could be wrong. Clifford, I can't. I'm not going to. Like, I'm just saying, if I don't have time. But, like, it would take... people that are not running a show like me. Like if I didn't have this show and I could do this full time, 40 hours a week, I would need at least 15 people. But here's the problem. I'm running a show. I spend 6 to 8 hours a day at least doing this program. So I can't do, for me to work with 15 other people, this has to be our full-time job. And we have to have meetings, and it's complicated. It's like running a corporation, dude. It's a big deal. Deep dive in this shit, because imagine the shit that I find, and then you get 15 other people, and they uncover, and I'll give them my sources and say, hey, here's my undercover source to get into and do this. Then they find all kinds of shit. Like it's overwhelming. I can't do it. This channel is tough enough. I'd have to quit the channel and just be a full-time researcher. I can't. This channel takes so much fucking time. I got to clean out the spam. It's everything. So, yeah, I'm not doing it. The deep dive, Arthur L. Thank you very much, Arthur, for the donation. Appreciate it. Tax-free. The deep dive you just did was really great. It brought back memories when I used to use AOL. You've got mail. That shit was so fucking annoying. Mimi Coolcat says Hulk needs his own Doge team. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, like, man, you know what? I really just need Elon Musk. Shit, dude. I could not have anybody. I need just him alone. You know why? He could have 15 separate AI computers and then give each computer a job and a task and have them be like his employees. And he might even go out and hire 15, 20, 50 different AI bots, and he could train them in how to specifically do searches in crypto. And like, because you can tailor your bot and teach it how to do a specific kinds of internet search like I do. And you can have you can turn on the AI and have it watch what I do and learn how I search and stuff and start copying my search practices. And then it could start doing its own search practices. And then you could train that AI and get it smarter and smarter and just... But I'm not getting into it. Then the channel will get shut down. That's what's going to happen. Look, I already know where this ends up. It ends up with this channel getting cut off. Okay, so I only go so deep. And that's it. I'm not going to get into deep diving the fuck out of any of this because it's going to lead me to a government agency that's secret or quiet or people. I already know where this ends up. That's why I'm not going to do it. Like, you're going to end up getting in trouble with the internet. I mean, the government, and they're going to show up at your house and shit. And then they start talking about national security, and then I'm fucked and stuff. And they'll stop me from using a computer for the next 20 years or some shit, right? So I already know where it leads to a fucked up situation. Yeah. Subtle N says, take this 20-year sentence or work for us. I'm like, fuck. So I already know where this goes. I'm not trying to get in trouble. All right, that'll do it for me. We're at about 1 hour anyway. Shadow ban. I'll be even more shadow banned. Okay, so I got to head off to, I got to go down near Sacramento, close to it, then head right back. So I've got a lot of driving ahead of me. We had a great show today. I'll see you in my next one. I think I might have one for the morning. I'm not sure, but I'll see you then.